From Electric Jar Productions, an episode we're calling Bonopoly. A closer look at Bon Appétit Management Company and the monopoly they have on food service at Whitman College.
Bon Appétit has formed a monopoly on food services as it is the sole provider for Whitman College. A monopoly can have many impacts on its consumers, which in this case would be Whitman College and its students. Because there are no other options, some may argue that allows for a decrease in the quality of food served. Students in other colleges feel this as well. Jonathan Grammons, a writer for the Biola University newspaper The Chimes, writes that the lack of competition on campus gives Bon Appétit no motivation to produce quality food. However, along with a lack of incentive towards innovation, the monopoly allows Bon Appétit to set their own prices and decide how much profit they make. Food is also an inelastic good. Because it is a necessity, the quantity demanded will not be subjected to much change with a change in price. In addition to this, it is policy at Whitman College that students are on a meal plan if they are living in the dorms. Because of this, Bon App making food more expensive will have virtually no effect on the amount of students on the meal plan and the amount of food that they provide.
Bon Appétit Management Company was founded in 1987 in Palo Alto, California, and is now worth over $1 billion. The company is a contract-based food service provider for universities, colleges, and corporations. It operates at over 500 locations in 32 states. In 1994, Bon Appétit took responsibility for serving students on a meal plan. Before then, Whitman managed its own dining halls. There are many reasons for requiring that first-year students be on a meal plan. This is Roger Edens, the general manager for Bon Appétit at Whitman.
Students can get off the meal plans, but the basic rule the college goes by is if you're living on campus, you are required to have a meal plan, and then you're requiring that for a number of different reasons. I mean, you can't have the residence halls without having a meal plan, so they're not set up for it. The number of beds on campus basically dictates, how many people are going to end up on the meal plan. It varies as to how many people get admitted every year.
When students buy a meal plan, the price is collected by Whitman College. After 3 years of planning, the college recently opened Cleveland Commons, a new central dining hall on campus. Students now pay for food on a per-item basis. The way in which Bon Appétit receives compensation also changed.
The old agreement was basically, it's like, okay, here's the meal plans, and these are this many people on the meal plans, and Bon Appétit got X amount every week.
Okay.
Regardless of how many meals people ate or anything else. Which is kind of an upside-down incentive because it's like we got our money up front, and who cares? But then it's like, obviously, we have to care.
Bon Appétit does seem to care about providing quality food and doing so in a socially and environmentally responsible manner. Still, it's hard to believe that the college chose to subscribe to this blatantly flawed system of incentives for the last 24 years. Now, however, each flex dollar Bon Appétit receives, the college transfers that same amount of real American dollars to the company.
Whitman College has an agreement with Bon Appétit that leaves Bon App as the sole provider of food on campus. This agreement includes food provided in the dining hall as well as food catering services on campus. Students do have the option to go off campus for food, but eating out is likely just as expensive as Cleveland Commons, if not more, and students will have to spend time reaching the restaurant. This is not an explicit cost as students are not spending actual currency, but the use of time is definitely an opportunity cost, as students could be using that time to study or to be productive in any other way. This means that it is in students' best interest to stay on campus where they have no other option than Bon App. This is an interesting issue because the college also encourages students to eat on campus. First-year students are discouraged to bring a car to campus, so if they take this advice, they will have less options when it comes to eating out. Whitman is able to regulate the market for food on campus, similar to how government can regulate monopolies in other larger markets. The problem with the lack of variety in on-campus food is that it leaves many students unhappy. The price of food seems to be higher than Prentice Dining Hall's all-you-can-eat model, because you have to pay for each item individually, so students are upset, and it is easy to blame Bon Appétit as a big company trying to make a large profit. However, In talking to the general manager, Roger Edens, we learned that Cleveland Commons is not expecting to make a profit for the next 3 to 5 years, so maybe Bon App is not as profit-driven as many people think. Another issue that students see with Bon Appetit is that it is mandatory for students that live on campus to be on the meal plan. This seems like a trap to many students, but in reality, this is necessary for the meal plan to operate efficiently. The number of students living on campus is used by Bon Appetit to determine how much food they must supply in order to reach the demand of the students. Since the college also wants students to focus on their education, being on a meal plan makes it so students don't have to worry about getting their next meal. In addition, the college doesn't want students to be cooking in their dorm rooms because of the possible liabilities that would come with this. If a student were to be injured or the dorm room burned down, the school would be in big trouble. With students eating at Bon Appetit run facilities, there is much less risk. Roger Edens mentioned that an agreement with Whitman has with Bon App protects the school from liability in the event that a student gets sick from the food they eat on campus. Their agreement makes it so having outside vendors is a risk that the college will not want to take.
In many ways, small liberal arts colleges form an oligopolistic market. That is, a market with a small group of sellers that offer similar products. Oligopolists are often tempted by the option to cooperate and collude with other oligopolists in order to earn monopoly profits. At the same time, they are often incentivized to go against their competitors in order to make profit for themselves alone. It used to be that food from college dining halls was notoriously mediocre. It's hard to say whether this was due to some type of collusion among colleges, but it's clear now that colleges use dining halls as a way to compete. This is Roger Edens talking about the new dining hall.
Probably make it easier for the college to, recruit students and, compete with other colleges that are, which is what, people apply to more than one place. They have to decide based on something, because they're probably applying to schools that kind of look kind of similar. Because that's what, suits them. And I know that, athletics and stuff, coaches, I spoke to a couple of them, and it's like, yeah, this is great. You bring, some high school athletes who are here, and it's like, oh my God, the food is just amazing. So I'm sure that, admissions probably kind of feels the same way.
If the college is going to strive to attract students with better food and facilities, then students should have the option to opt out of these amenities. Some students feel like the meal plan is not worth its price and would rather find a more economically sound way to feed themselves. First years do not have this option, and even sophomore students have very limited options for off-campus living.
Indira Delstrom is a sophomore who's planning on living in the community service house next semester. People who live in the community service house are not required to be on a meal plan.
You have someone who you're matched with for the semester to cook. You cook once a week, so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they have 4 house dinners a week. Like, you can eat just all of the communal groceries. So you can be eating as much as you want from the food that you go, and you rotate and go grocery shopping. That's one of the chores, so I'd have to go grocery shopping at some point. And I think it comes out to, the RA said, it's $300 to $400 a semester is what it sounded like for food contributions. So that's just a lot better than paying $3,000 for the meal plan.
The only 2 on-campus housing options that allow sophomore students to be off a meal plan are consistently full. So for most students in their first 2 years at Whitman, on-campus food is the only option, forcing students to buy into the Bonopoly.
I'm really proud of what we've done over the last 27 years. We have an exciting group of people, and we're going to continue to work hard. We bring people together to break bread and to exchange ideas. Food connects us to each other.
And so does money. In the next installment of Electric Jar Productions, we'll consider, should Whitman College pay property tax, corporate gains tax, and other taxes in addition to sales tax?
Marketing to outside communities, because I read some things about how Cleveland is open to the Walla Walla community, and that people are encouraging them to come here and check it out, spend money and stuff. So do you think?
That's the extent of marketing.
Okay.
I mean, that was some newspaper articles that the college had their hand in getting it written or whatever, but it's not something we can't market outside because of just it has to do with just being on a college campus. The college is paying taxes on this building.